Today, we're talking about the top 5 things you need to learn about Google Docs. Let's get into it. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Adrian Reddix, and today we're talking about the top 5 things you need to learn about Google Docs. Google Docs, if you don't know, is an office suite from Google. In this instance, when I'm talking about Google Docs, I'm talking about the Google Docs, the word processor for Google, Slides, which is their PowerPoint equivalent, and Sheets, which is their Excel equivalent. So I'm talking about those core ones when I'm talking about Google Docs. The first reason you should learn or be familiar with Google Docs is going to be younger people are using Google Docs. Why is that? Let me give you a story of 2 school districts. One is the district that I used to live in, and one is a district that my wife used to teach in. They're both in the same state, both in central Mississippi. Right. So the one I used to live in, they got this big thing and they were all happy because Google gave them free Chromebooks. That's awesome. Each student got a Chromebook. In my wife's old district, everybody had a MacBook, either a MacBook or iPad. If you know anything about Chromebooks and MacBooks, no matter how much of a discount Apple gives them, it's significantly more expensive than a free Chromebook. The main system that they use at the old school district, we'll call that school district A, is Google Docs. That's how they communicate. That's how they share things between the students and the teachers. That's how they turn stuff in. A whole bunch of different things. They rely on the Google Docs suite. On the other hand, even though this other school district had more money, they had Google Docs too. That's how the teachers communicated. That's how everybody kept in touch. It was Google Docs. So by you learning Google Docs, because younger people are learning it, you learn how they communicate, what ecosystem they communicate in, right? So if you're a manager or if you're a parent or things like that, you can understand how, at least on the professional level and also the personal level, how the information is exchanged between the younger people when it comes to Word documents and spreadsheets and also PowerPoints. The second reason you should learn Google Docs is it's similar enough to other suites. Just like I've said before, if you look at the word processor, it's blue. Blue seems to be the universal color for a Word document. I don't know why. It's just easier to learn. But just like other suites, there's nothing so drastically different about Google Docs as opposed to MS Office, OnlyOffice, or LibreOffice, right? It's so similar that it isn't as fully featured as Microsoft Office. Let's put that out there. But for what 90-ish% of people use it for, all that stuff is the same. You know, you can make your type bolder. You can change your fonts. You can left justify, or you can center, or whatever you need to do. It's similar enough that if you learn Google Docs and somebody else puts another office suite in front of you and you don't do anything super complicated like some advanced macros or things like that, you can use any office suite if you just learn one. And it has the same functionality. Your equal sum is going to be the same on your sheets as it is in Excel, or auto sum, or multiply, or all those different spreadsheet commands, the exact same. If you learn Google Docs, you learn 95% of all the other office suites out there on the market. The third reason is going to be the Google ecosystem. Why does that matter? The Google ecosystem is so vast and it works interchangeably a lot of the apps inside the Google ecosystem. Let's say Docs. Docs and Sheets and Slides are easily integrated into G Drive. So if you need to share and collaborate and things like that, you get 15 gigs of G Drive, you get YouTube, you get Scholar, you get all these different apps and programs inside this ecosystem. People always talk about Apple and their ecosystem, and they have a very vast ecosystem. And also Facebook is starting to build up their ecosystem. But as far as Google and their reach, Google has just as a robust ecosystem as Apple, minus the hardware. It benefits you to have the number 1 and the number 2 search engine. That's Google and YouTube, right? So having all these different apps that people use on a day-to-day basis that are so integrated into each other is a good reason to learn Google Docs. The number 4 reason to learn Google Docs is it's free and it travels well. What does that mean? 1, of course, free. You don't have to pay for it. 2, travels well means that if you have a device that can connect to the internet, you always have Google Docs with you. No matter if it's on mobile, iPad, Surface, desktop, doesn't matter. As long as you have a device that came out in the last 10 years that can connect to the internet, you always have access to Google Docs. That means that if you need to write something on the go, or if you need to collaborate with somebody real quick and you are in Korea and the other person is in Zambia, right? You guys can hop on and communicate for free and collaborate on something that's worthwhile. You know, it could be business, it could be pleasure, whatever it is. No matter where you're at in the world, as long as you have access to the internet, you have access to the full Google suite. And by it being free, you remember the 2 examples of the school districts, right? By it being free, MS Office, no matter how good and how robust MS Office is and how much you can do with it, it still is a heavy cost. Even to a school district has a lot of money. So these 2 different school districts, one's not as, doesn't have as much money as the other one, right? So even though they don't have similar financial situations, these students and these teachers can still communicate, and it's free. You know, so if they wanted to do a project like build a robot, or I don't know what school districts collaborate on, it doesn't matter because it's a way that students from all over the world can have a very similar experience, and they can collaborate and they can do whatever they need to do, and it doesn't cost them anything extra. The 5th reason why you should learn Google Docs is going to be versatility. It's on almost anything you can buy because of you. If you have a device that can connect to the internet, it'll be on there as far as a web browser. But it has a very, very robust mobile app. The mobile app is really, really good, actually. And you do have to download each thing in the Google suite, the docs, the sheets, and the slides. But still, you could do it. You can still save all these in the MS Office format because MS Office is still the king when it comes to Office suites. And a lot of the big companies don't use Google, and that's fine. But you can still communicate, and it's still very compatible when you're talking about interchangeability between MS Office and Google Docs, right? And the one big reason is add-ons. Add-ons is a big thing when it comes to Office Suite. When my wife was in graduate school, she used a bibliography add-on when it came to Google Docs, and it helped her with her papers and things like that because it helped her cite her sources, right? And when you're talking about an academic pursuit, even if it's on the middle school level, you still need to cite your sources, right? That's how academic pursuits are, you know, when you're writing a paper, you know. So you have add-ons like that can help enhance not only your schoolwork, but they also have add-ons that can help you in your business life and things like that. The versatility of Google Docs is another huge reason to learn it, even if it's just for you being able to access the same thing on your desktop as your mobile phone or your iPad and your Surface, right? Because you have these things on anything you own is one of the best reasons to have Google Docs. Have you ever used Google Docs? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comment section below. Guys, that's it. Thanks for joining me. If you like this type of video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this type of video, give me a thumbs down. Tell me why you didn't like this type of video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one.